Hello, everybody. Let's go ahead and just verify. We're going to do an audio test for the next couple minutes just to make sure audio is working. Also, let me know if you're picking up any feedback or background noise. It's too loud. I'll see if I can adjust that. Welcome, everybody. Okay, awesome. Okay, let's just make sure the audio is working. Hello, everybody. Sound is good, perfect. Not too much background noise, I hope. Oh, sounds good right now. Great. Thanks, Chris Bearns. Appreciate the feedback on that. Fantastic. Okay, so we're just going to wait just a couple minutes for people to filter in. Hello, Anne, or Annie, I don't know. Is it Anne with an E? Hello, welcome. Sound is great. Excellent. Awesome. I'm so excited. So for those of you who are here, let's just break down real quick what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be showing you how to make a dungeon on the fly real quick. And we're going to make 2 dungeons today, one each hour with a different technique. So I'm super excited about this. It's going to be great. No background noise. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Magnificent. Okay, so we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be showing you the quick methods on how to make dungeons on the fly real quick. Super cool techniques. We're going to start with the first one, a mask tool technique that doesn't require endlessly piecing together a bunch of cliffs and walls, because we're going to let the mask tool do that for us. And then in the second technique, I'm just going to show you how to piece together wall pieces and cavern pieces on how to make a dungeon. So super exciting stuff. So first hour, mask tool. Second one is going to be with stamp. So I'm excited to do that. Howdy, Joy Baker. Welcome, Mike. Hey, Juan Hernandez. Yes, awesome. Some awesome people here. Okay. Well, it is that time, so let's just jump right in. Let's also do some announcements too. By the way, if you haven't yet, please join our Discord channel. You can go ahead and find that in the link in the description below. Join Discord. We have incredible mentors and users that are always helpful and always willing to help you. So go check it out. Hey, Mike, King Clown. Awesome. Really glad that you made it. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do when I make a dungeon is you're going to want to pick your style. So Fantasy Battlemaps, this is your standard landscape aspect ratio. Okay, and then on top of that, we want to also use a grid, because grid is going to help us with scale. So in most D&D campaigns on most maps, about 5 by 5 foot square is what that equals. Or if you're in Europe or using the metric system, that's going to be 1.52 meters. Okay, 1.52 meters by 1.52 meters. So it's up to you whether you're using imperial or metric. So the next thing is, again, putting down that grid. Show the grid so that you can see it. And the default is 40 by 30. So one of these squares is going to equal 5 by 5 feet, or 1.52. All right. And we're also going to bring down the grid tool all the way to -5. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want the stamps to be on top of it. Okay. And then on top of that, we're going to want to do some other things. We want to change the BG and the FG layers textures. So let's first go do that. Let's go over to the brush tool, B key. Go ahead and click the texture, open up the catalog, and then kind of pick the texture that you want. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you can go about doing your background. You can just do straight black background, so that when you do create your caverns in your rooms, the background area where there's no dungeon is going to be black, or you can change it to different color. So remember, we're doing mask effects, not stamps, in this particular one. So first, I'm going to choose this texture. I'm going to go ahead and first fill this up with the add mode too. So those of you who don't know how to do a quick fill, mask tool, M key, switch over to shape rectangle, click, hold, drag, cover the whole screen, right? And you can click the add or A key, press enter. So now the whole screen is going to be filled with the add mode. Okay, then we want to switch to B key, and we want to add that texture and make sure it's set to the FG. Now, shortcut keys, 1 for FG layer, 2 for BG layer. So we're going to do the FG layer because this is all set to the FG. click, hold, drag, press, apply, and the entire canvas will be covered. That's your quick fill. Once you've done that, now you want to switch over with your M key over to the mask tool and select your Edgy Brush. Now, the reason why we're picking the Edgy Brush is because this is going to represent those edgy, natural-looking cave walls on top of the straighter line rooms that we're going to use the grid tool for. So first, let's just select feature size 8, turn the smooth off, and let's just apply real quick onto, with the subtract, by the way. If you want to know how to quick between the add and subtract mode, there's A shortcut key and B shortcut key. Now the whole canvas is the add mode of the mask tool, or the FG. So we're going to switch over to subtract, and we're just going to quickly put one little section of the BG on here. We're going to zoom in, take a look at it. Now the only reason why I'm putting just a little bit on is because we're going to play with the mask effects that we want to work with. Okay, let's also choose the background texture, or the the floor texture that we want to put inside the dungeon. So go back to that B key, open up the catalog with the F key, and I'm going to pick this texture right here. It's called gray ground. And the reason why I'm picking it is because there's some really nice artifacts in there, some nice line work within this texture that I can use to create some interesting things, whether it's shadows, lights, extra textures on top of it. Now, before you do that, you probably want to size it because it's going to be pretty big at 100%. The artifacts are large, so we want to make the artifacts a little bit smaller, and you're going to just know the caveat that when you downscale a texture, it's going to become more repetitive. So the way to do that is one thing is to rotate, so it's not so repetitive. So rotating is a way to mitigate, on top of just making sure that you use a soft brush and you don't quick fill the entire dungeon with it. So we are going to do that right here, and I'll show you how to work with that. So this is that BG right here, just a reminder, BG, this is FG, okay? So let's go ahead and switch over to BG, quick fill the whole thing. Okay, so now the entire BG layer is going to be covered with that particular texture. Now, whenever you edit a texture, whenever you change the size, the rotation, or the offset, make sure you immediately favorite it, okay? Because that way, when you go to reapply that texture 20 texture applications later, that way it won't be gone from your recently used, and it will show up in your favorites. So click your favorites right here, and you're going to see that that texture, I'm going to delete all these other ones, that texture is right there in your favorites. So always remember to save or favorite textures that you edit or change in any way. Otherwise, holy schmoly, you're going to be you're going to end up having to go and resize and re-edit that texture all over again. Okay, now that we've added the FG and BG layers, let's play with mask effects. So you just go right to that M key or press the shovel. It takes us there. You're going to find out all the mask effects. First, let's mess with stroke. Let's change it to black. Instead, we don't want it to be brown. You could change it to 1 if you wanted to. 2 works as well. We're going to turn off ripple effects. There's no water, so there's no need to add ripple effects. Let's just zoom in to get a closer look at the effects. Go back to that M key. Okay. We're going to do an outline of 1, and we're going to make it white. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to add the effect of kind of like a wall. Then there's also the outer shadow, and we're going to make that black. Okay, and what that represents is the shadows that are along the cavern walls. So then that also creates this sense of depth. And if you look carefully, it already looks like it pops out, right? That looks like there's a natural kind of circular looking cave right there in the center. So by messing with the mask effects, you can create the walls that you want, okay? Let's keep going. We also want to create some effects going outward. So if we want, we could make the inner shadow white if we wanted to. And the reason why we're doing it is to kind of create this contrast. And you don't have to do this. It's up to you how you want to go about it. Now, if you don't like that white, then you can turn it off or change it to black or something else. That's up to you. Okay. Now that we've got the mask effects that we want, we can go ahead and just remove this by just, adding over it. So we've added the mask effects that we need. Okay, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask Philip in the chat, or you can address me and I'll try to get to your questions when I can. So thank you, Philip. Okay, now once you've done the mask effects, the BG layer textures, and you set the grid to what you want, the next step is to think about your layout, okay? Now, this is actually pretty easy because dungeons sometimes can be kind of complex and you're thinking, how do I start a dungeon? Well, it's not complex. The first thing you have to create when you start your dungeon is obviously your start position, right? So think about where your starting position is in the map, and don't forget to think about your end position. That's your exit, okay? Now, when you're thinking about your exit, also think about, like, is there going to be some giant boss battle, a heavy that you're going to have your players play against? So maybe you want to consider a large chamber close to the end where that battle is going to take place, okay? So let's follow that logic. So let's first start with our starting dungeon, okay? Now, I'm going to be using the mask tool, M key, and I'm going to use the grid, okay? I'm going to set it to 0. Okay, so I'm going to start with where our start's going to be. So let's just go ahead and make sure it's set to subtract, by the way. So D key, okay, and I'm going to go down to 1. And we're going to put the start right down here by making a 9 by 9, or I'm sorry, not 9 by 9, a 15 by 15 feet room. Okay, and in the center we can put a staircase there, and that is going to be the center of the room. Now I'm going to start with using the grid first to make a lot of straight square-like rooms and shafts and tunnels, and then from there we'll switch over to the Edgy Brush and really add in the natural parts of the dungeon. Okay, so let's first start with that centerpiece, or that, not centerpiece, I'm sorry, the start point. Okay, now when you start your start point and then you're moving on to the next section, you think a little bit about what you want your dungeon to be like. Do you want to scare the poo out of the pants of your players and kind of make a small, tight, claustrophobic like dungeon where around every corner there's a monster or a trap? It's very dark. Like, think about the tension and the atmosphere and the ambiance that you want to create, the tension that you want to create for your players, okay? So for this one, let's make like maybe a kind of a maze-like section where there's a bunch of dead ends and stuff that kind of lead nowhere. So you can do that. Make little sections here. Let's say one that goes over to here, just kind of leads to nowhere, or you can go this way and it also leads to nowhere. Let's say there's also another one here that kind of just leads to nowhere. And make sure that you add a lot of corners, because when your players are going around and then they see this part, they're going to be like, oh, well, that's just a dead end, I'm not going to go there. So make those paths a little bit longer so that you can lead them to nowhere in a dead end, and then laugh at them maliciously when they bump into a dead end, because it is funny. Okay, so we've added just some little spots we can move around, and then we can continue on to the next section. Okay, and we'll create a chamber right here like this, and we'll make it fairly large at first. Okay, so we have this nice kind of large section, and if you're worried about the squareness of it, don't worry, we're going to be getting to that cavern part. That's going to be a lot more fun, so don't worry, we will get to that. So this is a nice little section, a little more open space for your players to run around, explore, you know, give them a slight reprieve from the claustrophobic little passages. So there's always, give your players a little bit of reprieve. Don't, you know, scare them to death unless you want to, and that's also fun, right? Let's keep going, adding in sections. Whenever I add a large section to large section, I like to add a whole bunch of paths leading out to some various other sections. So go over here, add in some more, keep going, go up. Let's just add a little room here. Okay. Now that I've showed you some of that, let's go switch over to that next step without making the rest of the dungeon. Let's just switch over to your Edgy Brush, okay? And we're going to set it to a little higher than just 1. Let's set it to, say, 20. Now, just remember that when you're adding in the natural cliff and you're making a natural cavern-looking room, factor in that each square is 5 feet square, okay? When that happens, you have to make sure that you don't make a natural cavern section that's so small that you can't really do anything with it. You know what I mean? There's not enough room. So let's give an example. So let's say that I want this room to not look so edgy looking. and I want to add in some natural walls to it, okay? So now you have this nice natural looking section here. You can do it everywhere. You can say you want to do it in here to here, connecting in like this. You can see, make sure there's room within that section for the players to walk around, okay? So if you made it something small like this, obviously the player's not even going to be able to walk around in that piece. Okay, so always factor in that scale part, okay? Let's keep going. Let's add in some natural sections here and maybe even create a passage. And I'm going to make it 5 by 5 feet wide. So that's why we're using that grid, to make sure that it is that wide. Let's just add a nice big section here, and we can put something fun in there to work with. There we go, looks nice. And again, don't forget about scale, so factor that bit in. Let's also go ahead back to grid and just add in a small grid section. Let's say it goes down to here, and there's another section for a grid. And so you're just going to alternate between the grid brush and the edgy brush, okay? And that way you're going to have a mix between very symmetrical straight line walls and your more cavern looking walls, okay? So much easier and so much quicker than trying to piece together tons and tons of stamps. But we're going to be doing that in the next map, and I'll also show you quick ways on how to do that, okay? So let's just zoom out and take a look. We're at 77 changes. I do advise you to make saves about 100 changes or so. It's kind of a pro tip. Okay, let's also make this more natural. Let's just first fill it out a little bit with this, and then we'll go ahead and switch over to that edgy brush again. All right, let's make it big enough to where it fills in a whole square, and then we can just put it in right here, nice little section here. Okay, there we go. I think that looks nice. Let's see here, let's put it in here, okay. Now, the next step is also learning how to use the shape tool. That's right here. This is that Polygon Shape. And this thing, now just factor in that when you're using the Polygon Shape tool, that the grid might not fit perfectly. So make sure that you line it up with the grid when you apply it, okay? First, let's make a path that leads to this Polygon Shape room that we're gonna add. So let's go over to here and say that it goes in right about here. Let's actually undo that a little too far, I think. Don't forget that undo key, but don't mad undo. Let's say that you've made let's say you've made 30 changes. Don't click undo, 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 undo. Go to your history and then use this history log instead. So that way you don't have to undo, undo, undo. And every time that you undo, it takes some time, right? And you don't want to sit there and do that 20 times. Instead, go to that change history, look for where that is in that change history, and then just click restore. Quick caveat, if you do 1,000 changes, 100+ changes, like with a brush tool or with, let's say, making a forest, you're going to fill up that change log so much to the point where you won't be able to go back to other changes, okay? So just keep in mind that after a certain number of changes in your change history, they'll start disappearing because the change history log isn't going to catch the 5,000 changes that you've made. So just keep that bit in mind, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and move over to here, and we're going to create a chamber that's going to be just totally different from the other chambers. Not a square, not this edgy looking cavern wall. We're going to go with the Polygon Shape. Okay, and then we're going to also pick the sides. Okay, so we're going to go pick the sides. Let's just go ahead and pick one that's got an even amount of sides to it. Let's rotate it like this. And make sure you line it up with the grid. So let's take a look at it like this. Let's say that I want it to go right about there, and make sure that it connects with that passage. And all you have to do is just click subtract, and boom, there's this nice looking polygon looking shape. And this can be like a boss room or mini boss room or a puzzle room that has like a door that's locked for your players. So think about that. Okay, so now we've created this nice larger room for your players to explore. If you don't like a completely symmetrical shape, of course, you can go in and just start putting in some parts that are not looking natural, like this, or are not looking very straight. So you can do that. Honestly, I kind of like the shape of it, so we can just go undo and just remove it. and keep it. Now, if you don't like it, let me know. I can go ahead and change it back to, or change it to where there are natural parts. That's up to you. Okay, so we've undo that just a couple times. All right, and you have that nice shape. Let's go ahead and, oopsie, we want to go back. Things are getting a little laggy. I am editing in 3K. If you haven't noticed, there is a new edit in 3K option. It shows up when you create a new map. Just click the 3K resolution. It will open up in 3K. It's a nice middle ground between the more blurrier 2K and the very much sharper 4K Ultra HD editing option, and that can lag on computers. So hopefully a 3K editing resolution will make it look so much crisper and nicer at that resolution when you're working on your map, because nobody wants to look at a map that's blurry, right? Okay, so let's keep adding in our shafts and our tunnels. Let's just don't forget to make a couple rando sections. Don't forget to add in maybe some dead ends for your players. Okay. Let's go ahead and put in a dead end here. It's always nice to mess with your players. Be mean, not too mean, but mean enough, okay? Mean enough. Okay, so we got some dead ends there that kind of lead to nowhere. Let's just take a look at the overall design. 109 changes, let's save. We're doing good. We're just gonna call this Dungeon 1. Well, that's not how you spell dungeon, so don't do that. Okay, we're gonna quickly save. If anyone has any questions so far, please let me know. Oopsie, I think I accidentally went off screen. You don't want to do that. So I'll be able to fix that shortly. Okay, no questions in chat. Things are looking good. Awesome. Sweet. I hope you find this technique to be much quicker. We're already about 20 minutes in. We've almost finished half of the dungeon shape. So it is a very quick and fun style to do that will, because, you know, I mean, not everyone has time to sit down and make a in-depth 5-hour, 20-hour dungeon, right? You're on the fly. You're trying to get this dungeon done before your players, before your game, next week or tomorrow. So that's what this technique is all about. It's about, boom, getting this dungeon quick and fast, okay? Let's keep going. Let's go ahead and add the next section. We're going to add some more tunnels. You can even add tunnels that might connect back into it. So like this connects right here. And you can put like some fallen debris or some kind of stamp that cuts off that section, and you're forced to go do the loop around the other part of it. So we'll add in those once we start adding in stamps. Okay, let's keep going real fast. Just keep going, keep adding in more sections. And we'll also add in those natural looking shapes. Let's put in another 15 by 15 square foot room that can be traps, monsters, a chest, whatever you want it to be. Okay, let's also do some irregular shapes that also look kind of interesting. So I'm going to use the grid as a guide. I'm just going to go ahead and shape it up. This is the rectangle. I think it's called the rectangle shape. Absolutely. Let's rotate this. And what's really nice is to remove all the perfect symmetry. So everything's to this grid, and all that symmetry, all those straight lines aligned with the grid makes it look kind of weird. So by adding in some elements that are not square to the grid, kind of gives it more character. So I'm going to go ahead and just subtract 2 sections right here like this. And I'm going to make sure to line them up with the grid like this. Let's take a look. I think about there looks good. Let's go ahead and subtract that. There we go. Okay, so you have these nice 2 little kind of rooms just sticking out. That kind of looks nice. And we're going to do the same thing right here. And don't forget, this is a 10 by 10 room, 10 by 10 feet. I'm using that grid as a guide, right? Let's just put in one more on this side just for fun. Rotate it, make sure it's lined up properly, and then just subtract. Boom. That's it. So now you have those nice sections done. And we can go ahead and keep on moving along to the next section. Let's keep going on over to here. And we might want to consider making a boss battle room. Oopsie, I did not mean to do that. Might have been a bug there. Things are going to run a little slow. Let's go ahead and just go back to add. We'll just cover those up. My mistake. Jump back to subtract. Let's go ahead and put in, oh, actually, let me make this kind of a windy path instead of just a straight line, because that's not generally how it works. So let's just do this. I'm going to create a series of windy passages like this that goes to the boss battle section. Let's go ahead and push this around like this. Okay. And we're going to create a large room where the boss battle is going to take place. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, let me check the time. Sweet, we still got time. I was hoping to have the whole layout done in 30 minutes and then put in the stamps in the last 30 minutes and then move on to the next dungeon. Okay, sweet. Let's just fill this in. Whee! Perfect. All right, that's done. And we'll have the exit be right up here. This is where that exit's going to be. Let's go up one more. And this is where the exit is. Okay. And we're also going to go ahead and create other sections of the dungeon right here. Let's go ahead and do the Edgy Brush since we've been doing so many straight lines. So let's do that. Okay. Let me just check that size. Let's make sure it's big enough to where it fills up. It's about the size of about a 5x5 grid section. Okay. And let's just go ahead and do this. And we'll add in a little section that goes like that. Okay. And don't forget, this thin section has to be wide enough for your players to get through. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Let's do this. Maybe add it up to here. And I'm just kind of filling in negative space because I don't want to have this huge negative space where there's no rooms. Okay, so just factor that in. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and add in a room. Like this. Just do one more like that. Perfect. There we go. Like this. Let's add in one like this. There we go. Let's take a step back and take a look at it. So far, so good. Let's add in another section. There's this negative space right here, so let's fill that up. Let's just do another windy path that kind of leads to a little section right here. Okay, and that can be anything. It can be a trap. It could be whatever you want it to be. No questions so far. That's great. Awesome. Okay, let's take a step back, take a look again. Yeah, this looks good so far. I'm happy with it. This is a very, very straight looking room. So one thing I'm going to do is to make it look a little bit more natural. I'm going to go to the add mode, Edgy Brush, size 1. And I'm just going to apply real quick and just see how it looks like when I add it. And what I'm doing is just kind of breaking up some sections of the room to make it look a little bit more interesting. Like maybe I'll remove this corner here. Don't forget to remove any little floaters, shall we say. Let's just add a little crack right here. And we can do the same thing to a lot of other things, like right here. We can add one in. And let's also, don't forget to cut off this section. So I'm going to remove this to make it look like this part of the tunnel maybe collapsed or got ruined so you can't get to it. All right, and let me take a look at the other sections and continue to add just where those parts are at. I think this looks okay. Let's go ahead and subtract and also just add in some more little sections so that it doesn't look completely straight, because I just think that too many straight lines looks weird. It doesn't look as interesting. Having the different lines kind of creates this contrasty feel between straight line and natural shapes, and that when you mix those two together, it creates this really nice contrasty look, and I really like that. Okay, 74 changes. I think we are almost done, so let's just go ahead and save. I know it's not 100 changes, but let's just do that. All right. All right, we're saving. I'm just going to go ahead and check. Oh, yeah, Chloe, sorry I missed you. Good morning to everybody. All right, okay, we're saving. Okay, so earlier I had discussed about using this particular kind of cracked ground texture. And the reason why is because you can see that there's some nice little negative space. You see how there's this darker section right here? Let me just highlight it real quick so you can kind of see what it looks like. So this little section right here, these are little spaces that you can kind of work with to do things. This is that thing where you're letting the tool do the work for you. So if you're thinking, okay, I don't know what to do next now that I've added the rooms and I've done that stuff, how do I proceed forward from there? you're going to use the elements in the ground texture, the floor texture inside the dungeon to do some extra fun things. So let's maybe add in a different texture, right? Because look at this floor. It's all the same, and that looks weird. So let's try applying a different texture. Press that B key, click that F key, and I'm going to choose this sewer cracked ground texture, okay? And I also want that texture to, I want those cubes, I want those tiles to match up with the grid, okay? So now the way to go about doing that is just to figure out what is the proper size. Now, if I've already figured this out, it's 80. So if I click 80, you're going to see that it's matched up with the grid. Okay, now this particular texture is at 80. Not every texture that has a tile is going to be at 80. You'll have to experiment with that, okay? So, but for this video, I found out that this texture at 80 fits perfectly, okay? Now I'm going to show you what I was talking about with filling in some sections with a different texture. We're going to set it to BG, it's the background. We're going to set it to the circular shape, softness all the way up, and let's drop the opacity a little bit, okay? Because we want to do multiple strokes to give this natural transition between tile and this cracked ground, okay? Let's also bring the size down and, you know, scale it to about where if you fill in this section, it isn't going to overlap. Now let me apply and show you what I'm talking about, okay? So I've go ahead and apply this texture. That's a little bit too much. Let's try 49 like this. And I'm just going to fill in that section that I highlighted with that texture, okay? So I'm going to fill it in like this, put in a couple sections here. I'm filling in that negative space with this tile texture, okay? Again, you're letting the tool do the work for you, or this texture is working for you as a guide. Same thing if you're using the texture to make like a world map or landmass shapes. It's that same concept. Let me turn the grid off so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I turn the grid off, boom, you have these nice cracked ground that blends perfectly with that tiled ground. So it looks super nice. A Bizzle chicken. Oh, I love it. The monster will, the final boss is a monster chicken. I will crush you and then lay an egg on your head and crush your skull. Cthulhu. Love Cthulhu. Yeah, I like it. Okay, let's keep going. So I've added that nice thing, and you can do that everywhere too, right? So I want to maybe fill in this section right here, another negative space. Looks kind of nice, so we'll put that in there like that. Okay, so there's that. Now if you want to create, it was the colonial all along, the kernel all along. Okay, so I'm also going to show you something else that's completely optional, but I think looks pretty good, and that is to also highlight some of these edges. So you can do that by just boosting up the opacity a bit, bringing the size down to around, oh, let's say 2 or so, set it to black. And if you go like this, you can outline that area like this. And what that does is just going to kind of create this kind of illusion of a harder edge, which also represents kind of like height. Okay, so I'm going to do this, put some black around these edges, completely optional. It's just something I do. Okay, let's take a look at it, and it looks pretty nice, at least in my opinion. I'm coming to get ya. Okay, all right, so now we've added in that. Okay, and also, again, let's also favorite that tile texture so that I don't have to edit it again if I end up saving and refreshing the page. So that's available. I also want to show you another trick real quick before we put in textures. I'm actually gone over, so let's quickly just do this other trick. Go to that particular texture that you use, this one right here, and I think I forgot to save it because I'm super smart like that. Let's go to size and bring it back down, my mistake. And let's also go to filters and do the brightness. The reason why I'm increasing the brightness is because I'm going to show you a quick light and shadow trick that will show you how to represent when something is higher elevation and lower elevation. Now those dark lines around those artifacts on that texture helps already. It makes it look like that's popped up. But what happens if you want to add a little bit more depth? And the way to go about that is just to take this cracked ground texture, boost the brightness, drop the opacity a bit, and then save it. Obviously, we're going to add it to our favorites, and I'm going to apply it to certain sections to make it look like it's higher up. So if I apply this right here, let me go up just a little bit more. If I add a texture like this, okay, what it's doing is kind of creating this illusion that these two parts are higher up because you're using light and shadow or light color to create the illusion of height, okay? Let me go through and just add in a couple sections where it's going to be high up like this. Okay, let's add this section right here is a little bit higher up. This one's higher up. Let's do this one as well right here. Here. Let's just all just do right here. And you're just kind of doing it in those negative spaces, in the kind of these spaces right here where it looks like it's open. Let's also do it here as well. A little higher up here, here, here. And you're kind of letting the texture doing all the work for you. That's the whole point of this. Let the textures, let the tool do the work for you. And don't get killed by Chucthulhu or Cthulhu! Okay, looking cool. Okay, I like that. Let's do a little bit more here. Okay, looks fine. Let's go ahead and quickly add that texture as well, that tile texture. I'm going to put that down in these negative spaces like this, like we were doing before. Okay, looks good. Let's just do that real quick, and then we can move on to texture. Or on to hiya, Bochex. Welcome, welcome. I hope you didn't miss the Cthulhu. Eventually, that'll wear off. I'll stop doing that. I promise. No, probably not. No promises. Sorry about that. It will probably go forever. I'm just sorry to inform you. It's just the way it is now. Okay, sweet. Ooh, let's do this section too right here. Add some tile. Yeah. Okay, this section right here will look good with some tile. Yeah. Hello, Mike Aben. Welcome. Oh, wait, no, wait. King Clown. Yes, you've already been here. My bad. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, take a step back. Okay, one more section, a couple more sections to add in that tile. Okay, oh, thank you, Bochex. I'm glad that you're here. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and add in that tile and to this boss section here. Yeah, and I'm going to show you a cool trick about how to put the grid only on your dungeon floor and not on the outside. It's a really cool trick. I'll show you how to do it. Don't worry. Okay, let me put that there. And one more right here. And then we'll call that good for texturing, because this is just a quick, how to make quick dungeons on the fly. Okay, let me take a step back. 62 changes. I think that looks okay. You know what? Let's also add them in some of these square sections because we want some tile in there. Put a couple in here like this. One in here maybe. And let me see. This room should be okay with a little bit. And I'm just going to put kind of the tile in also where those straight lines are because it looks kind of nice. Okay, we're adding in here. All right, let's take a step back. 69 changes. Save. All right. Okay, we're going to save, and then we're going to move on to the next part. I'm going to show you how to put the grid down only on a part of your map and on another part of your map, because that is extremely useful, by the way. Extremely useful. Okay, we're just going to give it a moment to save, show you how to do the grid thing. Okay, you're going to go to your grid tool, turn that grid on, make sure that it's visible, okay? And now you're going to export once. So just export at 2K, save image. Boom, there it is right there. Okay, oopsie, actually this is in 3K, so let's export one more time and make sure it's set to 3. Oh, no, it is. I think it is already set to 3K, so it's perfect. Okay, now once you've exported, go to your catalog, go to upload, choose image file, and look for your dungeon texture. I think this is the one that we did. Let me just verify real quick. Yeah, that's it. And now just, you know, these are just preview scale and opacity. They have absolutely nothing to do with what the image is going to look like when you apply it. You have to do that with the advanced settings. So let's just save the texture. Give it a moment to save. It's so slow. Okay, now we're going to go up to, oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh, where are my custom textures at? I just added one. Was it too big? Oh, there it is right there. Okay, now we want to go to your size, and I think it should be set to 400. Let me just verify. No, it doesn't look like it's set to 400. Let me bring it down a little bit more just to get it right. Scale, scale, scale. I think that's it right there. Perfect. It's lined up. Minus, oh, I don't think it's fully lined up, actually. Let's set it to 250 just to verify. Oh, come on. You can do it. 250. No, that's not right. 275. Did I get this wrong? I probably did. Naughty man. Okay, let me check to see where it's at. No. Just keep going. The scale is just not right. Okay, let's try 260 maybe. Sorry for the wait. Sometimes this can be difficult to find the right size, so apologies. Normally this works for me. I think what I did is because I did it in 3K, it's just a bit different. I did my testing for this map, unfortunately, in 2K, so that's a naughty me. Naughty, naughty me. Don't make the same mistake I did. There we go. I think that's about right. Okay, let's turn the grid off. Okay, now the grid is off. You've got that texture. It should be scaled right. Set to FG. And let's just go ahead and turn off the softness. I'm going to apply real quick to make sure that it works. It should be set to BG, sorry. Let's set to BG. And you will notice that the grid, oopsie, it's not scaled perfectly, but you do see that the grid is applied to the BG. Okay, so now you have a full-fledged grid that is lined up with the tile, and it's only on the inside. So that worked out nicely. You have that grid. Sorry that I made that mistake about the size. My bad. Do as I say, but not as I do. Okay, that's how it works here. All right. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can go ahead and start adding stamps, and we have about 20 minutes to do that. So let's go ahead and start with your first room, as always, right? So first room, 5 by 5 square grid. I like to add stairs, so let's go with stairs, and this kind of represents that you're going down or into the dungeon. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's do a long one and pretend that the exit is, or the entrance is right about here. Okay, going out, and make sure you turn off that layer. You don't need layer shadow. And of course, you're probably going to have to drop the brightness a bit down. That's super bright. Or you can just flatten it to the layer. Okay, so if I flatten it like this, if I flatten to BG, then all the shadows and everything will affect that stamp. Let's just drop the brightness down first of it, down like this. Okay, a little bit, and then we'll flatten it to the BG layer. So there it is right there. You've got this stairs going out, and we can add an arch if you want to kind of represent that there's some kind of overhang leading down into this thing. So let's just choose these arches like this. We'll go ahead and pick one like this, and let's just go ahead and size it up right. I think about there looks fine. Okay, so this is your entrance, and just so that people remember, we're going to put entrance. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. That is not how you spell entrance. Again, I don't know what it is with me in spelling. I don't know. No, I'm just gonna say enter so that I don't have to embarrass myself further. Okay, so this is your entrance. This is where you start. Okay, and we want to put your exit up here as well. This is your exit. So let's put exit, and you know what? We might as well just do the same thing and put that right here going out like this. Okay, like that, exit, and we'll put that here as well. Okay, and don't forget to make those changes to the, oh, I see the grid is off. Yikes. Oh no, it's embarrassing. Okay, we're gonna flatten to the BG layer. Boom, there you go. Okay, so that exit is done and the entrance is done, which I spelled incorrectly. Ooh, don't know what that's about. Okay, any questions so far? Please let me know and we'll make the fixes. We will do the fixes. Okay, All right, so normally what I like to do after I've done the entrance and the exit with stamps is I like to work on the boss room, because that's going to be the iconic room where you're going to do your boss fight. So think about what you want your boss to be. Is it going to be a giant slime? Is it going to be like a slime mold? Is it going to be a dragon? Is it going to be some very angry gnomes? Is it going to be dwarves who just don't know how to be nice? Like whatever it is that your monster is going to be, think about that and the theme of that room, okay? Let's say that I want to create maybe a pit in the ground, and maybe there's some, let's say, some tentacles coming out, and you have to fight that. So let's just say that that's just going to be that main boss. So the way, entrance. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Choi. Thank you. I've embarrassed myself further. Love it. Oopsie, what did I just knock over there? Hope you didn't hear that. So I'm, again, going to make a kind of like a pit. I wonder if we have pits. I don't think so. Armpits, maybe? No, don't think so. Could check for armpits. Always think of entrance. Yes, I am entranced. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joy. Okay. No pits whatsoever. So you'll have to make your own pit, really. That's the way it's going to be. So how am I going to make a pit? Well, that's not complex. I'm going to use the brush tool. I'm going to use the color black. And I'm going to use the edgy brush. Turn that smooth off. And let's just bring this down. And let's pick a section where our pit's going to be. And don't forget, you can use, an ancient undead. Ooh, Mike, you know, I like the idea of an ancient undead. That seems nice. Let's do that. Let's do that. Ancient undead. Yes, the evil undead. I dig. I really dig. Okay, so let's go ahead and put down some stairs leading up to this room. So let's flatten that to the BG. Some stairs go up. You're going into here. Let's put in a summoning circle, I think would be a good idea. So, because you have to, where's the dead coming from, right? We're going to summon them from the dead. Okay, so let's put down a summoning circle. Put it in the center here, maybe. Okay, right there looks good. Let's do that. So you have a nice summoning circle. And remember, the grid has been painted on, so it's not going to show up over your stamps. That's okay with me. I actually prefer that, so that works okay for me. Okay, could definitely use some Battlemap pits. Oh, I absolutely agree, Jade Watts. Absolutely. 100%. You can't find pits. It's okay with me. You can make pits at home, like armpits. All right. So we've added in this, and let's say we want to do something like some spooky. Let's tune in some lighting. Let's maybe add in some torches. You know, I mean, you got to have torches, right, in your spot. So let's put up a couple of them against the wall like this. One right here, maybe. And let's put another one over here. How much time do I got? Ooh, 15 minutes to finish the interior of this map? Not gonna happen. Impossible. Okay. And I kind of want to make these torches like something creepy. Let's maybe add in some green glow. Let's change this to green, maybe. Oh, no. Let's do a color scheme. Blue and green, or green and purple, are complementary colors. So let's go ahead and go with purple for the summoning circle. And let's go with green for the torches. Really cool trick when it comes to selecting multiple things. Select a torch. Let's say you want to select all those torches. Hamburger menu, select all from the set. Boom, everything from that set is selected. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and change that hue to maybe green. So we've got green, that's done. Then we're going to go switch over to light sources. Ooh, lift. I want liget. I just don't have the ability to spell properly. Okay, put down your stamp. Let's go ahead and switch it over to green. Where are you, my pretty? There we are. There's that nice one. Yes. Oh, I use cliffs to flatten them. Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. We're going to be showing how I use cliffs and stuff for walls and stuff in the next one. So let's go ahead and first put down two light sources. The first one's going to be just directly over the light source itself, a smaller one. Okay, so you got that one. And then copy paste a much larger one. And I'm not going to put it like this because I don't want the light going out. okay, going outside of the dungeon. So I'm going to go ahead and place it inside a little bit, copy, paste. One there, one here like this, and one like this. Let's take a zoom out and take a look. Oh yeah, I dig. I'm digging so far. You could use ghost lights. Oh, absolutely. Ghost lights work grind too for just straight out of the hat green. My bad. Oh, I'm just getting schooled by the people in the chat and I love it. Trevor White. Hi y'all. Hey Trevor, welcome. Glad to have you here. Okay, so that next step too, I'm gonna go ahead and do something it's kind of fun to do. If you look up cloud, you type in cloud and there's some clouds right here. I'm gonna show you a really cool trick to kind of fill a room with kind of an eerie looking glow to it. Let's go ahead and add a cloud. Make sure it's set to layer up, all the way up to layer 5. We're gonna select it. We're gonna go to transform and we're gonna change the height and size of this one. Okay, so it about fills the whole room like this. Next step, object shadow. Let's switch to green shadow. Okay, so now you have a green shadow. And then after you've done that, you can go to your blend modes. And we're going to shift through the blend modes and kind of see which one looks best. And if you see one that looks good, let me know. So that one's color burn. We got lighten, we got screen, color dodge, overlay. We've already got that green. Let's see here. A hard light maybe. Ooh, that's tripping me out right there. Ooh. Add in hue, saturation, color. Oh, wait, you can add in color. I think color looks pretty good. I just want to make sure that the room has 4 green torches in it. So you would expect the room to kind of be filled with this kind of eerie green light, right? So that's why we're adding in this cloud, adding in a green shadow, object shadow to the cloud, and then changing the blend mode to color so it kind of fills up that green room with the green. So yes, absolutely. Lighting is one of the most beautiful parts. I absolutely agree. So we've done that. Boss room. I'm going to go ahead and do one more room. I'm just going to show you how to do one room, how to do rooms in general, and then we'll skip on to the next one. And if you want, I'll off screen or off video, I'll be sure to finish up this map with the other rooms, and then you can go ahead and clone, edit it, change it, or look at how it was done. Let's just quickly save. We'll move on to the next one. But you've killed the purple. Yes, that's true. I have. That's a naughty man. That can be fixed. We can fix that. In fact, we will do that. We'll make sure to do that. All right. And the way to go about doing that, but you've killed the purple. You purple slayer, you purple killer. Naughty. You will be punished forthrightly. There we go. We got some purple in there. That looks good to me. And, you know, I think I might actually change the blend mode as well on this, just to make it interact better. So we'll just see how it looks first. So maybe darken, multiply. Let's see here. Ooh, you know, that is kind of cool. I kind of like that. Is everyone cool with that? I'm cool with that. Does that look cool? Not cool? I'll get the whip. Whoosh, whoosh. Okay, yeah, I'm cool with this. If people aren't cool with it, let me know, and we'll make sure to change it up. Let's just move into this next room. Just make it glow, would you? Damn it, make it glow. Get with the glowing. Okay. Oh, yes. One other thing I forgot to mention too. I love doing this with light sources is to add in the spark stamp. And the reason why I like to use the spark stamp is because it makes it look like there's those little floaty particles. You know, when light hits like dust particles, you can kind of see it, so it looks super cool. So let's just put that down first. Okay, and I'm going to drop the opacity down a little bit on this stamp because I don't want it to look too crazy. There we go. Yeah, a little bit of sparkly sparkle. There's nothing wrong with sparkles. Nothing wrong with glitter. Looks nice. Yes, there we go. We'll add in some dust particles floating in the light. Sweet. There we go. Yeah, now we're talking. All right, next room. Okay, so let's think about what we want to put in this room. So so what are some basic stuff that you can put in a dungeon real quick? It's going to be rocks, crates. I also recommend adding in small wooden timbers that look like the cross beams that collapsed. So I'll show you how to do that as well. Let's just go straight over and just show you how I do that real quick, okay? Who put the vampires? Ooh, the vampires. Going to suck your blood. So tasty. Is this a True Blood dungeon? It's a True Blood dungeon. That's what it is. Okay. I'm going to show you a little bit about how to create the illusion of a collapsed ground. So there are cross beams that timbers that are above that kind of support the ceiling, right, of the dungeon. Let's say that you want to portray the idea that one of those timbers, those supporting timbers, has collapsed, fallen onto the ground, and there's a bunch of dirt too that fell down. So let's go ahead and portray a collapse in a tunnel. So I'm going to first type in wood with 3 O's. Give some extra wood. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm going to stop doing that now. Okay, we're going to put down a series of wooden pieces. Oopsie, I think that is set at the wrong opacity. I can see right through this piece of wood. How did this happen? And I'm also going to make it a little bit darker. I think too bright a wood doesn't make it look dirty. So we want to do that. Yes, it's your fault. It's all your fault, Mike. How could you? Shaving carrots over here. I'm just going to naughty you. There will be punishments. Blood for the blood gods. Okay. First, let's add some pieces of wood on the ground like this first. So this is where the collapse took place. The next step is just to fill it with a bunch of rocks. Okay, and you want some rocks to be underneath the wood and some rocks to be on top of the wood. So let's do that. Rocks. Where are you, my pretties? Where are the rocks? Where are the rocks? Oh, you're so slow. You're just so slow. Okay, these small rocks right here are going to work just fine. Okay, maybe it's a ghost wood. Ooh, ghost wood. That just has a nice feel to it. That feels like a tavern. Welcome to Ghost Wood. I like it. I could dig that. Skulls for the skull throne. Yes. I love it. Okay. Let's just put let's put some rock first on top. I'm just going to quick click. Click. Yeah. Just mad click it, yo. And then take it down a level. And then now you got some underneath it. Oh, you know what? I did a boo-boo. I just did a big boo-boo. Oh, no. Let's remove those. I forgot. Whenever you're stacking rock, the rocks that are going to be beneath the wood are going to be darker, while the rocks on top of the wood are going to be lighter. Okay, so I just, poopied that, so my bad. That's what I get. That's what I get. I was doing stuff before thinking about it. I'm really guilty of doing that. I do that a lot. I really do. Okay, let's bring the brightness down on that rock. Okay, let's put one down to see what it looks like. Yeah, I think that's dark enough. And then we're just going to go ahead and place the rocks underneath. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah. Oh. Nice little collapsed section. There we go. Yeah, so you got this nice pile of wood that fell down. The ghost wood has collapsed. The ghost wood, what kind of wood is it? It's bad. Okay, so you've done that. And then we also want to create like the illusion of maybe that wood slivers, that the timber that broke left some shavings or whatever. And there's a great texture called dry grass. Dry grass. And it's in the orc texture. Excuse me. Ooh, not me. All right, I'm going to bring the size down so that a lot of the artifacts can kind of show up like that. And don't forget to switch over to your circle brush, bring your softness up, drop the opacity, and then also make sure that the brightness is going to be relatively around the same as the wood. Okay, and then I'm just going to apply this like this. Oopsie, let's go with something like 64. There we go. And we'll put a little bit of, kind of looks like dirt. It's dirty. This is a dirty dungeon. It's not like the clean dungeon that we're going to make next. It's dirty. It's dirty. Dirty like my mouth. Okay, so this is how you kind of simulate or make a collapsed section. And what's really cool about this is that you can just go ahead and select all of this, copy and paste it, or just group it. and then copy and paste the group. And don't forget, whenever you make a group, rename it. So let's just call it collapse. And let's see if I can spell collapse correctly. Joy, please help me. You're my official stenographer. All right, copy, paste. And the way that I go about doing this is whenever you copy and paste a piece, just so it doesn't look exactly the same, all you got to do is just grab a section, rotate it like this, and just rotate up these pieces around. So that way it looks like a different pile, okay? That's it. It's really as simple as that. So boom, there's a whole new pile. Did it in just a couple seconds. Pow! Let's just size it down. Okay, let's put that one over there. So another collapse over here. Right there. Ooh, we're making tunnel collapse sections. I like it. Yay, thank you, Joy. You're, again, personal stenographer. Okay, let's go ahead and put another one right here. And again, just rotate them and move them around, okay? How much time we got? Oh, yeah, there's no way. Okay, so I've kind of showed you how to simulate that. Let's also put in some crates and barrels. This is a very stock thing that you can put in a dungeon. So let's go ahead and put down some crates. Where are the crates? Oh, we don't want crates full of stuff. Just a regular crate like that. There we go. You can do it. All right. Now, so we are focusing again 5 by 5 feet. So if you had a crate that was this big, that's going to be 5 by 5 feet. So if you want a crate that's smaller, let's say that you just want to do a quarter that size. So 4 of these equals 1, and that's about 2.5. That's about 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet. That's how the area of that particular one. Let's put it up against here like this. And I'm going to drop the brightness. And if you want it to be affected by the shadows, you can flatten it. So just go ahead and flatten that to the BG. And you'll notice that it is indeed affected by the shadows. You can do the same thing to this if you want. You can flatten these if you want to the BG. I just recommend then that you put one pile off to the side like this that you can copy and paste, because once you flattened it, you obviously can't select it again. So it's gone. I don't normally do a lot of flattening, but it is kind of necessary for this kind of technique of dungeon, because you do want those shadows up that are projecting away or that are projecting from the wall to interact with the objects, okay? So, and you know, again, if you don't want to flatten it right away, then just put them everything on the map first and then save the flattening for last. So that way everything is arranged and ready, and now you're like, oh crap, I accidentally flattened something, and then you paint it over it by accident. So you could save flattening for last if that's your preference, okay? So I'm going to be a big jerk and call this one is technically done. I've put you through the basics, okay? I've showed you how to make the general layout, what are the mask effects, how to create natural walls and obviously the straighter walls, how to put in more polygon-like shapes to break up that monotony, how to put the grid down, and then how to populate one room or a particular room, okay? So you're going to add a series of staircases where you want them. You're going to want to put in collapsed areas. You're going to want to put in crates, and you're going to want to put in maybe like pits that you can paint and stuff like that, okay? So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I'm going to save this, and I'll show you how to put together a dungeon with stamps, okay? I hope that you found this one particularly useful, because this is really the fastest way that I've made dungeons, is using the mask tool. All right, looks good. Well done. Thank you, Joy. I appreciate your support. You are too kind. Just so kind. So kind. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this good. This one is quote unquote done. Okay, create new map. We're going to go to Fantasy Battlemaps 2.0. I'm going to choose that style. I'm going to choose landscape. I'm going to choose, here's that 3K that I was talking about. Ultra 4K is extremely experimental. These HDs are extremely experimental, so just understand that, you know, it might cause some lag. So I'm going to pick 3. You're going to have to click this little box right here. Whenever you go into a higher resolution like 3K or 4K, it's going to give you that toggle that helps you to understand that the editing in HD is experimental. I'm going to choose the landscape option, create new. Woo woo! All right, time to make the dungeon of Chuck Cook Through. Okay, so now when I am doing a stamp-based dungeon for the walls, the way that I go about it first is, again, set up that grid. Make sure the grid's on. It's set to 40-30, so those squares are, again, 5 by 5 feet or 1.52 meters a square. Okay, all right. So I'm going to first make the background all black. So let's go that square, go to color, go across, BG. Okay. All right. Now I'm switching it this time. I'm going to make the background actual BG and the dungeon part is going to be the FG. So I'm switching it up just to give you a heads up. Okay. Once you've set that part up, the next step is to go into your stamp tool and go open up your catalog and go ahead and type in Cliff. Once it works, so here are your Cliff stamps. Now, something you should know about the Cliff stamps is that they have what's called a clipping mask on them. Oopsie, I forgot to drop my grid all the way to 0. So, or I'm sorry, -5, because I don't want the stamp to have the grid on it. Okay, so if you don't know what a clipping mask is, a clipping mask is basically a part of the stamp that picks up what's on the FG layer. So let me give you an example. If I was to go to the add mode, you'd notice that the FG layer is this texture, okay? Now, if you want to get rid of that, you're going to have to go back over to your brush tool with that B key, go to texture, and you're going to go ahead and pick a texture that you want for your ground. And there's lots of options here. Let's not use the same texture I used before, and let's not use the same theme. Let's maybe go with maybe a lava, some kind of lava thing or something instead. So let's use this red ground, and we're going to create kind of this lava-like dungeon. As always, whenever you edit a texture, make sure that you save it. So let's go down to advanced settings. Let's make sure the size is right. And we're going to rotate again to kind of remove the repetition of the artifacts. And then we're also going to switch to FG. You can just press that one key. And we're going to go like this all the way across, just like we did. Press enter. And now you're going to have that nice texture in there. Okay. Let's also remove this. We don't need that anymore. It's just to kind of show. And I'm going to turn off every single one of the mask effect features. I don't need them. So just if you click over to the mask tool, M key, enable mask effects, they're all going to get turned off. Okay. Let's just go ahead now and subtract and remove this. So just go to subtract, gone. Okay. Now, so the way that I go about making dungeons with using cliffs and walls is by first just making what's called like a palette, okay? So all I'm going to do is just place a bunch of stamps onto the map like this, okay? I'm going to size them down because these are obviously huge if that's a 5 by 5 grid. And what's really nice about this is you're just going to go ahead and take one piece and you're just going to move the pieces around and kind of put them together to kind of create a shape that you want, right? And then from there, you're going to use that entire shape as a palette for the other rooms, okay? So let's first start with that. Let's put these together. This is the time-consuming part, but don't worry, it won't take more than about 10 to 15 minutes to do this, okay? Let's keep going. We're just going to create one small room, and then from there, we can copy and paste that room and just move them around, just like we did with that collapsed section in the last map. You're just going to copy, paste, and move some things around. And that way you're not adding a new cliff every single time and putting it all together. That can be very frustrating. That takes time. So let's not do that. All right. So work with the palette, work with what's already on the canvas so that you can move quickly, because there is no trick to finishing a map in just boom, record fast time. All you can do is just speed up your process and get a little faster. And the way to do that is by using palettes, using the texture as a guide to where you want to put things, using shortcut keys, which is an absolute must. Shortcut keys are right here. You can also press that K key. Boom, here's all those shortcut keys. Absolutely use shortcut keys. And if you can afford it, buy a pen, a drawing pen or tablet for your machine, because I can tell you right now, texturing and paths are going to be so much easier to work with when you have one, okay? There are some decent cheap tablets out there. A Ueon is a decent tablet if you want to use that one. Also, there are more expensive ones, of course, like the Cintiq Pro which is like a Wacom tablet. Those are really nice. Okay, so now that we've put this section together, we can go ahead and place it somewhere and say that this is going to be our entrance. And let's move the entrance somewhere different. Last time we had it at the bottom. Let's just switch things around like this. Okay, and the entrance is going to be right here instead. Now all I'm going to do is just take sections of this that I like and copy and paste it. So boom, that section. Okay, that looks good. Let's just delete that piece and then put that there, right? Let's say I want to use this part of it. Copy, paste, flip it around. Let's delete, let's say, oopsie, not that, oopsie, not it. Delete that piece and then put it over here like this. Okay, let's just move this whole section over to here. Okay, let's delete that piece. So this is the quick way, taking and working with what you've got. So much faster, right? This is just so much faster than trying to just keep adding new ones each time. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's put one here. Let's delete that one. Let's look for this piece. I like that piece. Let's go ahead and rotate. Okay, so the nice thin section here you can get to. Let's keep going. Put one here. Let's go ahead and copy and paste this whole section again. Copy, paste. Okay, let's go ahead and put that together like this. Okay, that'll do. Let's delete that section. Let's move this section elsewhere. Let's go ahead and move. Let's say this one goes right here like this. Okay, so it's a little bit quicker, not like ridiculously fast, but you know, it works in my opinion, putting these pieces together. And let's say that I want to just go ahead and copy and paste this whole thing again. So I have those pieces there. Let's go ahead and delete this section and just kind of make another section that goes over to here like this. Copy, keep copying and pasting. And don't forget to think about that 5x5 grid. So don't make a tunnel section that's so small like this to where your players can't even get into it. Okay, so factor that in, unless it's a crawl space and you're looking for, let's say that you have a halfling or a dwarf or someone who's smaller that can fit into that. Okay, so always factor that bit in. Let's put this together, let's rotate. There should be enough room there. What's the hotkey for control, paste, control C, control V? Absolutely, yes, that is correct, Sean Dillon, absolutely. Just like Photoshop or just your basic key shortcut key for that, okay? Great, that's a great question. I'm glad that you asked that, and I apologize for not mentioning it sooner. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, let's go ahead and take this whole section right here, copy, paste, and let's put it together right here like this. Ooh, let's scale it down just a little bit and remove some of these pieces. So this piece right here can go like that. This piece is going to go like this. Okay, we're putting it together. I hope that this technique is probably not as fast as the other one where you're using the mask tool, but I think we're moving along pretty quickly. We've already made quite a bit of room already. Okay, let's move this section out of the way over to here, and let's connect this piece to right about, let's say, right about here. Okay, and we can just go ahead and delete the pieces that we need to get rid of. So let's delete those. Put that together, put one here. Let's just go ahead and connect these while I can. Much better. Okay, we'll put an entrance there, and we'll also put one that connects to here as well. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and connect all these, put this together. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and look at these pieces right here, flip this one around, so that way I can connect this piece like this. There we go, looks good. Let's rotate this piece. Cool, we're just gonna delete these pieces. They're kind of just in the way and kind of a problem. Let's go and connect this whole piece right here. Copy, paste, rotate. Okay, so extremely useful. Just copying and pasting pieces, because just doing one individual piece at a time, going all the way around the cavern wall, it's just a pain in the freaking butt. It's a pain in the Cthulhu, okay? Just a serious pain in the Cthulhu. And so that's frustrating. So don't end up doing that, okay? Will this live stream be available on demand? I joined later and missed the mask approach. Robbie, absolutely. Yes. Yes. These will, after I finish this, These are going to be checked by YouTube algorithms, and then boom, it'll be ready to go. So as soon as this video is done, you should be able to go back. Also, I think there is replay. You can start from the very beginning if you want, or you can stay live with me. It's up to you, okay? I'm cool with either or. Let's go ahead and copy and paste like this. So we're closing off that chamber. I'm going to copy and paste these, copy, paste, flip, rotate. Nice. So super nice, super useful, just copying and pasting all the freaking time. Okay, rotate that. Nice. Ooh, question mark. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I'm so glad everyone is here. I have such great followers. It's fantastic. Love it. Okay. Let's go ahead and copy paste this piece. Is this the right one? I think so. Copy paste. There we go. Put these together. Oops. That's not on my part. Put those together. Okay. Now I can go ahead and move this. Let's select everything. Move it over. And then we're also going to put together some square pieces as well. So that'll be the last part. So I'm going to pick some sections to just remove like this. Let's just remove some of these sections. And then from there, we'll go ahead and add in some walls. So now we're going to switch over to wall. And go ahead and pick whatever wall piece that you want. Let's see here. Since this is a dungeon, we might want to consider going with like maybe a kind of brick, or maybe even like a broken wall of some kind. So we'll kind of take a look and see what our options are. Let's actually save real quick and refresh the page. I'm at 135 changes. We're going to call this Dungeon 2, if I can spell it right, for God's sake. All right, awesome. Now, I personally like both of these methods. I really like it using the mask tool or using the stamps. Both look cool. It's all really a matter of personal preference, really, when it comes to your dungeon, right? Whether you want to have to piece all these pieces together, or if you want to just use the mask tool, and they both have different looks, so it's really up to you what you like. I'm going to refresh the page. It's making me log back in. I don't know what that's about. Let's go ahead and edit the map. Dwarven walls always look good as dungeons. Oh, joy. Great idea. And that is what I am going to do. Dwarves. I love dwarves. They like to drink. They like to party. They like to hang out. They're goofy. And they pick their noses. That part not so cool. Okay, type in wall in your search. Voila. Now, I believe I heard the word dwarven. Let's take a look at how these look, huh? Come on now, you can do it. Awesome. Dwarven walls, let's scale them down. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and piece together. Let's go ahead and rotate through these. I think that's either the Alt or the Command key. I can't remember. We'll have to check shortcut keys for that. Now, and you're just going to use the grid as a guide. And also, don't forget, don't make everything perfectly straight. So if you want to, add in like a little bit of curve. So if you want, add in like a strange angle like this to make some interesting looking shapes for your rooms. So I'm just going to piece these together. This part I am kind of piecing together. So I'm going to piece these two together. Oop, whoa. Now what just happened right there? What is happening? What a butt. I'm going to copy, paste, do what I do, rotate, like this. Naughty, naughty thing. How dare you? Copy, paste this together like that. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and copy and paste a bunch of these rooms. These together. Boop, boop. I think that looks good. So you got a nice room there. Let's go ahead and do the same. I'm just going to copy and paste because there was some kind of bug that I just saw right there. Naughty thing. Naughty. Okay, copy, paste. And let's go ahead and let's just do a square room since we didn't have one before. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Okay, and I'll try to get this done quick. We'll add one irregular shape. Oh, you naughty. Oh, look at that. What the fart in hell is going on here? Naughty, naughty. Your rig is haunted. Yes, it is. Woo! Haunted rig, haunted rig. Jerk rig. What's wrong with you? Why are you being jerk rig? Okay. Put in some rooms here. Boop, 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 boop. Ooh, I'll even add in some interesting things. Have it overlap like this, so it looks like there's an interesting kind of just popping out like that. I like that. Okay, there we go. That room. And then I think there's another room we can put right here, and then we'll call that good. I'm just going to copy and paste because there's some kind of error going on. Some kind of naughtiness going on that I'm just not happy about. Dirty, dirty rig. It's a recalcitrant computer. Recalcitrant! We're going to send you to the booby hatch. You naughty, naughty thing. Okay, yeah, we'll add in some fun shapes here. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my copy and paste, or what's going on with the tool right there, so I'll have to recreate that zbug and then fix it. Naughty thing, so naughty. Okay, keep going, and add a little angle in here. Yeah, there we go. Does it all come nicely together? Oh yes, there we are. Okay. Those parts are done. So now once you've done that, we can save, and we're going to fill in the inside of the dungeon with the add mode of the mask tool. Where we going? Where we going? Sweet. All right, we're coming along. How much time do we got here? Ooh, I got 40 minutes to finish this. It might go over a few minutes. We'll see. Okay, mask tool, M key, circle brush. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to fill in all of this with the add mode of the mask tool. And all you got to do is just stay within the lines. That's really how simple it is. And what I like to do is just do maybe like one room at a time or a section like this, go along the walls like this. And now this, you have this whole section right here that you can fill in with a larger brush or just fill right in. Okay, it's just like if anyone's played Minecraft, I'm sure people have played Minecraft, and you have to make this giant building, and you have to make the whole floor one block at a time, and so you do all these fancy little tricks to kind of like make little sections, and then you fill them in. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. None of you have heard of Minecraft before. Okay, so we're gonna fill in these sections. Oh yeah, I like that red color too. That's spicy. That's just. That's delish. I like it. All right, fill it in here. You can do it. And then I'm going to put in some lava pits because this is a lava dungeon. All right, filling it in. Oh my gosh, my mouse is just having so much fun right now. Wee, are you going to work? No. Okay. That's what I get for recording and editing in 3K. Recording while editing in 3K. But I want you to look at a nice, crisp map. I didn't want the stamps to look all blurry and icky. Okay. That section's done. I'll show you another trick, too, with the grid that doesn't require exporting your map and then repainting it. All you have to do is just get rid of the white shadow that's on the grid. And then once you turn that off, you'll no longer see the grid in the BG or in this layer outside where the black is, okay? Because that's what's making the grid visible in the background area is that white shadow. And when that happens, the black lines will disappear in the black background, but they will show up on the inside, okay? So it's a kind of a cheat, sneaky way to include the grid only in the dungeon area, okay? So I'll show you how to do that. This is going to obviously take a minute because for some reason it is just very slow. My computer is just doing lag fest over here. Hey Maddie, do you like lagging? No, I don't. Well, get over it. Okay, let's fill in this section. You just filling it in Minecraft style. Beep, beep, boop, boop. Okay, here we go. We're almost there. We're almost there. Thank you for bearing with me. All right, fill that in. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love this color red. This red color with this gray. It just Looks nice. It's got a nice feel to it. I like it, kind of complimentary. I'm digging it. Digging it. Okay, almost there. Almost there. Oh yeah. All right, sweet. Okay, so about what I was saying about that grid, okay? So you have this grid, and you can see that the grid is also outside of the dungeon. That's a big no-no. We don't want that. So let's go over to our grid settings. Let's go to shadows, and let's turn the blur to 0 and this opacity slider to 0, okay? Now, let's take a look, and you'll notice that the grid doesn't show up on that black background, but does show up on here. It's on fire tonight. Woo! That's right. It's hot in here. Sizzle. Okay. All right. So now once I've done that, I'm going to quickly just save. I know only 27 changes, but it's always best to save because I don't want to do that slow, awful process of filling that in with the add mode. I'm a whiny child and I don't want to do it. Whine, 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 whine. Okay. Sweet. I love this grid trick. I use this grid trick all the freaking time for all my dungeons, even isometric dungeons. Same thing. Turn off the white shadow and make sure that the lines of the are black, and that way whatever your black background is won't pick up the grid, and your interior of your grid or of your dungeon will. So I like that. Okay. Now there are some other things I like to do for fun as well. I like to add some transition between these wall pieces and the black. And so one thing that you can do to do that is by adding in, like, let's say like a rock texture. So let's just choose this texture right here, rocks. It's an alpha. We're going to go to advanced settings and we're going to change the size. Okay. And we're also going to drop the opacity quite a bit. Okay. We're going to make sure that we set it to the BG layer. Let's just apply it and see how it looks so you can see it like that. I'm going to undo that. Now I'm just going to line around the edge like this. And what this does, at least this is my opinion, is it creates a transition between your background, that black background, and these stamps. Okay, so it's, excuse me, sorry, I'm still feeling a little under the weather. Just know that you probably will see some of the grid overlapping that alpha. Okay, so just keep that bit in mind. It shows up brown because the background is set to that color. Right. So yeah. So yes, exactly. Just what Joy said. These stamps have what's called a clipping mask. Okay. Now the clipping mask option shows up when you select it. Watch very carefully. So look right there. I picked up that FG. This is the FG, right? The FG is that color. I turn the clip mask off. You see how it no longer picks up that FG layer. Let me click the clipping mask toggle back on. Boom, there it is again. Okay, so that's really the trick. And Philip also explained it as well. So let's continue adding in that, that texture. And I'm just gonna make it fairly big. And that way I'm just gonna go do this real quick pass around the whole thing. Just go around that pass. There we go, yeah, ooh, yeah. Oh, look at all those rocks. Ooh, yeah, rocks. Okay. Yeah, I'm weird. Okay. So we've added that. I just like a little bit of rock around the edge. I just think that looks nice. So we've done that. Now let's do the next part where we're going to add in some lava. And again, just like we did in the last one, use the texture, the FG layer texture, that red texture, to decide where you're going to put your lava texture, right? So let's go ahead and move over to texture. So B key, switch over, catalog, F key, and let's just type in lava. There should be some options. I don't know, what's the best lava? Is it the first one, the second lava, or the third lava? Please let me know. I will sit here patiently and bore the living daylights out of you while waiting for you to select which lava. The first one, the second one, or the third one. Which one? Let me know. Let me know, please. Oh yeah. I am rather privy to the third one myself. Though that second one does look nice. Maybe we can use all three of these textures. The first one, okay. Let's use the first one for now, okay? So we're going to use the first one. Thank you, Joy. I mix them. Oh, absolutely, Jade. I absolutely agree. I think we should just use all of them. I think that would be nice. First, let's play with the size, because this is huge. We want something a little bit smaller. And of course, as always, rotate. Okay? So that way you can kind of fix that problem of the repeating artifacts. Oh, the third one as well, Andre. Oh, yes. All right. Well, we're going to fit them all in. Mix, mix, mix. It's the Catalina wine mixer. I mean, the Catalina lava mixer. Woo! All right. Okay, let's just apply one and just see how it looks, because sometimes textures don't work well together. So let's apply that first lava texture into a section that we want. Oh, I think I have to set it to BFG, by the way. Naughty, man. Naughty, naughty. All right, let's go ahead and just use this negative space right here that we had, just like we did in that first video, right? Or not first video. This is the first dungeon. Okay, let's actually increase the opacity so I don't have to keep doing this repetitively. Okay. We'll put some in here. Yes, this looks quite nice, I'd say. Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, that looks nice. I think I dig that. Yeah, I think that texture works well with that. So that looks good. Let's move on to the next lava texture. Will it work good as well? Will it be bueno? I wonder. Let's go ahead and apply here. Okay. Fill in this section. Yeah, there we go. All right, and let's go ahead and do another stroke. Lots of strokes in here. Yes. All right, this looks okay to me. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I like it. Ooh, we could even add another little lava section right here, maybe. Don't want to have just one lava section. Got to add in a couple. Let's put one up against here as well. Some lava. The Catalina lava mixer. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's try that last texture. I think this one right here. And let's maybe pick a section that might look good. Right here, set to 44, right here. Let's go ahead and put that in. Come on, you can do it. All right, add in some of the lava here. Okay, yeah, that looks fairly good, in my opinion. Okay, looks fairly good. Ooh, let's just pick some sections to put in a lot. So let's go 100% and just go where those bright yellow sections are and really get those popping. Okay, there we go. Lava section over there. Oh, I do like this lava texture. This is cool. All right, let's take a look at some other sections that maybe could have some lava in here. I like this one right here. Let's fill it in right here. Yeah. Ooh, let's just have this whole area filled in with lava. Like, how are you going to get past this? You got some floating boots. You got, like, what kind of goodies? What kind of equipment do you got? What skills? Okay, fill this in like that. Looks good. Oopsie, I just noticed that there's a section that hasn't been filled with the add mode. Got it. Oh, wait, right there, too. Woo. Got it. Yeah. I love lighting lava sections. Me too. Light sources are the way to go too. We're going to be doing that as well. Don't worry. So, and I generally try to do, light sources last generally, though it doesn't always work out that way, of course, as you know. Okay, let's go ahead and keep adding in some more of the lava. I think this section, it's just so nice to work with. It's like you don't have to figure out where something goes. Just using the contours of that texture is just so nice. Like, that's, to me, that's like one of my favorite parts. It's just so much less work. You don't have to try to figure out, like, okay, well, this lava pit looks like this, or this bunch of water looks good to this. It's just so much easier to use a texture to your advantage to make something look right. That is my method. All right, boots of fire resistance behind the lava. The boots of fire resistance. Is that the same as the boots of butt kicking? Because that's like my favorite. I love the boots of butt kicking. Okay, let's go ahead and add some lava in here. How much time we got? Oh, you know what? That's pretty good. 30 minutes. We've been moving along. I can't believe we were able to do, well, semi-do 2 dungeons. I don't want to... I didn't really finish the first one. Naughty, naughty. But I hope that you at least got the general idea. I hope. I pray. I pray to the blood gods that you figured it out, I hope. All right, some more lava. Yeah, the lava. Okay. Oh, yeah, right there too, I think. Should look good. You can do it, Mr. Lava. I love the textures for the exact same reason. Absolutely. Yeah, like the trick is just let the tool do the work for you, you know? Why work smarter, not harder? That's just the way I kind of see it. Cape of Billowing. Well, I mean, I guess that's better than the Cape of Flagellance, you know? I mean, because that will just show when you've done a flagellance. You know, you don't want to wear that cape, you know. The cape, it's the cape of winding, shall we say. Okay, let's then add in some lava here too. Yeah, I like it. This is so nice. So nice. Alright, yeah, now we're talking here. Let's add in some brighter sections here. Okay, let's take a step back. You know, I think that's enough lava for now. We can go ahead and move on to the next part. Let's go also apply some light sources. Wait a minute, let me think here. Oh yeah, let's apply some light sources, because light sources, you would expect lava, being that it's, you know, or magma, hot magma. And just so you, just a little tidbit here, if you don't know, the difference between lava and magma is lava comes out of the ground. It's above the ground. When it's below the ground, it's called magma. Hot magma. That's a statue to the lava gods. Yes. I love it. Great idea. Okay, let's go with light sources. Heck yeah. I like that. That's the way. You know, I think every bard needs to come in with an entrance. It's a bard, right? I mean, don't bards like flirt and do things with everybody? I mean, isn't their charisma stuff just crazy? There's that meme. Bards will sleep with anything. All right. Okay, so I'm going to use this light source. And I'm going to go ahead and just apply the orange light. And I'm just going to go ahead and put one next to every single lava source and make sure that it's set to layer 5 so that it interacts with the wall. Okay, so put it right there. It affects with the wall, and you have this nice lighting going on here. And then you can go ahead and add a light source right here. And make sure you add them to each one. A little bit of light source there and another one right here. Okay, let's take a zoom out and take a look. Let's add another light source here, here, and over here, here, here. One over here, here, and maybe a smaller one right there. And then add another one right here. Make that just a teeny bit bigger. One right there and one right there. Okay, let's take a step back, take a look. I'm giving one of my anti-PC rich kid who thinks he's the ultimate hero. What do you mean? You mean he's not the ultimate hero? World is crushed. Just play a song and everyone falls asleep or goes crazy. Yeah, right? It was with bards, man. Bards. Hey, bards are cool, you know? I mean, if you're in a pinch, a bard can really help you out. The truth is, bards are useful, right? They're useful. There are scenarios. There are scenarios. I like the bard class. I think it's fun. Okay, so we've added that stuff, and we've got 45 minutes, or not 45, sorry, 15, 20 minutes left. A little more than that, about 25 minutes. So, excuse me. Yeah. Okay. Now, someone had mentioned something about statues. Well, I like that idea. Let's do it! Everyone needs a statue. Let's see here. Let's go with maybe some marble statues, maybe? put them up against the wall or something, and then maybe have lava coming out of their mouth or something. That'd be kind of cool, right? Yeah, I kind of dig that. Let's put this statue. Let's pick one. Let me look. That one, that one. Well, we don't want lava coming out of a book. Ooh, the death one. Yes. Yes. I think this one's going to work. Let's do this. Let's do this one. Okay. Make sure the light source is affecting it, and then we're going to do some fun stuff here. I know that some people need to know something about the path tool. It's kind of a path tool. I mean, I don't always use it for a path tool. I use it for a lot of things. And one of the things I'm going to use it for is to make the lava. Yeah, so I'm going to pick a yellow. Oh, hold on a sec. First thing about paths. You should put one down first, okay? Now it's live, and you can edit it and change it as you see fit, right? So let's go ahead and change it to yellow, maybe, and then add the shadow be red. And so it's got some nice glow there. I think that's going to work just fine. Let's have some lava dripping out of this guy's eyeballs and going into the lava pit. So let's just do it like this, go down, going over, and then into the lava pit, another eyeball, just on here, going down, and just into there. And then once you've done that, just go ahead and select those paths, and we're going to change the blend mode. So let's go through, let's say darken, multiply, color burn, lighten. Ooh. How about screen? No, let's go. Ooh, I like that. I like that. But the transition between that and that is a little off. So let's go with color, yellow, and we're going to put in a little bit of yellow right where they meet with the lava so that it comes together well. Okay, so let's just do that. Here we are. Oh, wait, am I on the right layer? Oh, I hope so. Please, Lord, tell me I'm on the right layer. There we go. There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, wait, it's not really. Are we going to work? What's happened here? Oh, I see the problem. This thing has an object shadow. Naughty, naughty. None. There we go. Yeah. Now's it talking. Okay. And I want the transition to be a little bit smoother. So let's just make some, let's say, like some waves like this, kind of just going out a little bit. So it's a little bit more transition, add in some little dots here and there. There we go. Yeah. The lava god. He cries tears of lava. There we go. All right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks good. What do you guys think? Is it good? Yeah? If it sucks, just say, Maddie, it sucks. Do it again. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll do it again. Okay. I also want to put in some, like, more height. Everything's, like, super flat. As you can see, like, this is kind of flat. This is kind of flat. So to play with, like, height and distance and things like that, just take, like, just a regular old rock like this. Take a big one, maybe. And let's just put one randomly in here like this so that your players have a little bit of height to work with, okay? And if you don't like the color, you want to match the color of the texture below you, blend mode, luminosity, and it will probably be pretty bright, so all you have to do is just change the brightness, and now you have a rock that's relatively around the same color scheme as the ground below you, okay? Unless you want it to just be gray and match with the walls. That's entirely... nah, redo, White. You do it right now! Gosh, White, you're so vicious. So cruel! What do you mean? Do it again. Just kidding. I don't care. All right, so adding like some rocks and stuff like this really helps to create sections where your players can jump on top of a rock. Maybe you have a spell that's more effective. You want your arrow to have a little bit more distance. So things like that, whatever it is, your tactics that you want some room, you want some height to make it more interesting. You want to hide behind a rock when the lava demon or lava whatever is shooting, lava poop at you, and you want to avoid the lava poop. So, hide behind the rock, right? So that is why you want to add in stuff like that, add in some rocks, some nice things. Okay, let's add in maybe another rock somewhere. Put one right here. Same thing. You're going to probably want to change it to luminosity. Okay, there we go. So yeah, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe another one right here, maybe. I don't know. No, I don't think so. Okay, let's add a rock there. Let's also add in some rocks along the wall. And the reason why I like to add rocks along the wall is because it makes it look like the wall has collapsed a little bit. There's some, I mean, just what you would expect. Like, let's say that you have like a cliff or a ledge. You would expect from rain, earthquakes, whatever, to cause some of that that cliffside to break off and fall on the ground. It's that same concept. You are in a lava section, so I would expect some kind of seismic activity going on. So you would expect some collapses, part of the wall fell down, you know, stuff like that, right? So let's go ahead and choose lava rocks. I think that'll work just fine. 100% opacity. We're going to have to play with the size. This is huge, so we want to go with something a little bit itty bitty. We want to set it to FG because it's going to be inside here. Let's change our side. Let's maybe drop it down to like 80%. And let's just apply a little bit, see what it looks like. So you kind of create this nice feeling. And it's a transition, right? Again, just like we did the rocks out here, it's a transition between this red texture and those walls. So that way it's not like this. When you look at this wall right here, just there's this flat, straight kind of line, and it doesn't really blend well. So that's why we're going to add these lava rocks along the edge here to make it look like there's been some collapse. You can even do it to these sections. That's okay. That's quite all right. So just go ahead and add that in there. Add in some rocks along here. Add some rocks along here and in here. You're just going to travel around, kind of look for those spots on where you're going to put your rocks. Where are you going to put those rocks? I'll put some over here as well. Yeah. Some over here. Let's go back. Take a look. Oh yeah, and here should be fine. There we go. Yeah, some rocks. This is a rocky place, right? It's getting rocky in here. Okay. Excuse me. Ugh. Okay, let's take a step out and take a look. You know, I am very pleased with this. I actually like this one better than my last one. I mean, no, the last one was great. It's great. It's fantastic. Okay, so that next step is to use that same texture that we used, just like I said before, right? You're going to go into filters and bring the brightness up so that we can create sections that look like they're higher up, right? Just that same technique. So I'm going to go in. There's this nice section right here. Just go with 100%. Make sure it's just a little bit brighter. We want it to be bright enough to where it's visible. Like whenever you're doing this height thing, you want, oh, maybe some treasure. Oh, heck yeah. No, there's no treasure. There's no treasure. This is just a place for players to go to die. That's it. There is no treasure. Yeah, absolutely. O'Neill, absolutely, I agree with you. Let's make sure that we do that, right? I totally agree. I absolutely agree. Let's just keep going. I kind of want it to be even brighter. Let's go even brighter than that. My goodness, I'm not getting the brightness that I want. There we go. Maybe that. No, even brighter. Let's go all the way up. Let's try this. There we go. And I can bring it down a little bit too. And let's put another section over here. Oops, you know, I don't really want that section to be that way. Let's put it over here instead. Like this. A little bit brighter over there. And let's see here. Let's put a section right here, a little bit brighter. Section here, right here. Okay, let me take a look. Right here should be fine. Okay, here should be a good spot. Okay, here. Let me take a step back and make sure that isn't over the top. I want to make sure that it's not too bright. Yeah, it does seem just slightly too bright. So let's change it down just a hair. I'll go over it. Like this, there we go. Okay. There we go. I don't want it to be too bright. I might have overdone it just a smidgel there, okay? My bad. There we go. Yeah, that looks much better to me. I dig that. Okay. We've added the light sources. We've added a nice little lava dude here. Okay, and since this is probably going to be the last room right here, let's go ahead and put in the treasure as suggested by the one and only O'Neill. Jeremy. Yay, more people watching. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so let's first put down some treasure. Boom. There's the treasure piles. Okay, so you're going to have to, again, factor in, you know, this is that scale part. This is 5 by 5 feet. Okay, so these coins are, I think at 26%, that's about right. That coin's probably about that big, so that should work. I'm going to turn that shadow off first, and we're going to put a couple piles together. Let's just scroll through the various piles. Let's put one here. Okay, I'm going to turn that shadow off because we're going to play with that later. I'm also going to take that smaller treasure pile. Let's go ahead and first drop the brightness. This is that trick, right? Things on the bottom, darker. Things on top, brighter. It's just kind of a one catch-all kind of trick. So let's drop the brightness down like this and then put this one on top. And it should be a little bit brighter than the other one. Let's just bring it down just a little bit more. Let's say 80. And I can also switch this to a different treasure pile. It's maybe just a tad bit bigger, like this one right here. Okay, and make sure you turn that shadow off because it's going to affect it. So this is how I stack treasure. I have 2 treasure piles, one on top, one on bottom, one on the bottom, darker, one on top, brighter. That right there alone is so much treasure. It's crazy. So you really don't need a lot more than that. I think that's okay. I like my enthusiasm. Oh, I'm very enthusiastic. Good sir, or madam, or whoever, I'm sorry. Let me save real quick. Pardon me while I do my saving. Well, it's good to be enthusiastic. I have to keep the retention rate. I have to keep you watching. If I sound like a complete idiot, boring professor, then you're all going to fall asleep. And I don't want that to happen. I'm trying to keep you guys awake. Snap, snap, snap. Wake up. Let's do it. Oh, that's okay, Carol. That's quite all right. It will be absolutely recorded, so just go check back with it. Enjoy your game. Have a great time, okay? All right. Now, we've added in those, and I do believe there is just regular coin stamps as well. Should be coin. And, of course, you're going to want to put them up against some of the coins in here to see how big they are. And the reason why I do this is so that it looks weird when there's just a straight line. Coins aren't obviously going to just be like that, right? You want to throw in some rando coins, okay? And I've obviously made a boo-boo by making them just a little bit too bright. So we got to do it again. You got to add in the rando coins. It kind of helps. Okay, we'll go to 80 because I think that's what I set this at. Let me put one down and verify. Ooh, maybe just a smidgy more. There we go. And just start mad clicking. Mad clicking, okay? And you're, again, this is that trick where you're just doing that transition, right? You're doing a transition just to make it easier so that this big stamp pile doesn't look like it just like a sticker that was just planted there, right? You don't want to place stamps down that make it look like that's just a sticker. There's no transition between the texture, okay? So make sure you throw in those rando coins so that you have some nice transition between the ground floor texture and these treasure piles. Yes. Okay. And I'm also going to throw in a chest or two. Let's also throw in the chest. And I'm going to try to do something fun. I'm going to try to have the chest be like in the pile and look like it is like covered with coins. So like you have to dig the chest out of the coin to get to it. I think that would be kind of cool. So let's do that. Let's turn off the object shadow. Let's turn this one to a layer above. So it's covering some of the chest like that. Let's rotate a little bit. And then we're going to take those single coins and we're going to place those on top as well. So a couple on top of the chest like this, some on the ground like here. And make sure that, and remember, this is a circular chest, so just have the coin on the very, very top. It doesn't make sense to have the coin like right here because that's the front of the chest. A coin obviously isn't going to be able to do that. It could lean up against the chest, I guess. But I think that looks okay. And to make it pop more, we could add a shadow. So object shadow. And let's set it to 0. As I just want the shadow to show up around it instead of instead of like projected somewhere, like moving the offset. I don't want to move the offset. Let's just keep it at 0. And that way there's this nice little shadow, so it looks like it's popped out a little bit of the coins. Okay, 54 changes. Treasure pile looks good. I am digging this. It's looking nice. You know what also looks good in a treasure pile? Some jewels, maybe. Maybe some jewels? No, not jewels. What? Okay, I have to find out where that treasure pile is. Give me a second. This is one of those times where you're going to scroll very enthusiastically through the stamp catalog and then get distracted for 10 minutes or 5 minutes by a bunch of stamps that you're really like, ooh, pretty. Ooh, I like that one. Ooh, I want that one. Okay. Oh, here we go. I'm seeing some gems, some treasure. Let's throw that in just to break up the coin. Like, it's just nothing but coin. Can look kind of odd. So if you just throw in some like rando gems and stuff, it looks so much cooler. So let's just throw in some goblets and some gems. It will look nice that way. Okay, throw in a green one over there. Oh yeah, I dig it. And then we also want to throw in maybe some jewelry. So we'll put in a nice little jewelry piece right here. And then we'll add in another, I'll put in a mask in here. Let's just say that this is an item or some sort that's nice. I have to think about how big your face is. 5 by 5 square foot here. About that big should be fine. Let's put it right there. And move it. Okay. Ooh, was thinking that candle melted could work. Oh, I like that. Next to the lava, I put melted coins. Oh, yeah, now that's a cool idea. You know, I think, yeah, Jeremy, good idea. Let's just do that real quick. Let's type in candle. I think that's a good idea. I think that should work. If I know how to spell candle. Oh, yeah, these unlit candles might work. Let's boost the saturation so they're a little bit brighter. Let's go with let's go with color, make them kind of bright. Maybe we can play with the contrast. I'm not sure. It's going to be kind of difficult to mess with. Let's put one down. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Yeah, I think that looks good. We'll put it right next to the lava. Good suggestion, by the way, both Jeremy and Joy Baker. Great one. Good thinking. Smarty smarts. So nice I got the smart people in here. I do like that. That's nice. That's also nice. Okay, yeah, I dig. Okay, I'm gonna do one more room for fun, and then I'll call it good, just so you guys can get a feel for some other things that will be fun. We haven't put in any traps or anything like that, so let's try putting in some traps to make it a little bit more interesting. We could put in some spikes. Wall spikes are a great trap. Oh, not wall, spike. Spiegel. Okay, I'm gonna add in some like spooky long ones like this. I'm gonna put them right against here like this. So your players are gonna, you know, we're not gonna let them off that easily, right? We're not gonna make it that easy for them to run around, right? We want to make it scary. So we add in some spikes. 20 kg. Yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of gold, right? Yeah, like, ooh, wow, that's quite the treasure hold. You can now buy you can buy a shit ton of boats now. Because, you know, boats are really expensive. Well, just for fun, it's exaggerated gold. We don't have to put in that much. Obviously, you can put in a much smaller pile. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's put in some more spikes here. Yeah, there we go. Add in the spikes. And I do think there are some other ones as well. So you got some nice spikes there. Let's also let's type in trap. I think there are some other ones. Some fun ones. There we go. Let's expand all the traps. Ooh, there's like this trap right here where you fall in. And I would put in this kind of trap into a section that's like a very small space to walk around. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So like you could put one right here like this. There's not much room, so your player is probably gonna fall right into that. Or you can just put in a whole bunch in one section too. You can put one here, right here. Let's make sure it's below those. So put one here, here. So this is going to be a little challenging for players to get through, unless you've got the boots of floating. How I can carry all that home? You're not. You're going to have to teleport it. The only way. Or just leave some behind and do the dungeon again. Right? It's whatever works, right? So we'll add in some spikes there. Let's check out our other traps. Ooh, there's also these bear traps. And there's also these broken trap doors, which there's no need to put those in there. Okay. So one thing we didn't do, let's just do real quick. Let's just put in some stairs to represent an entrance and an exit. Some stair. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 more things, and then we're going to call it good. All right. Oh, you know what we don't have that I really want is some natural-looking stairs. All these stairs look man-made, or dwarf-made, or elf-made, or whatever-made. I want some stairs that look natural. I know you agree. I know you will. The fact that I'm being so dramatic about it means you will. Okay. Put in some stairs. Okay, and I'm going to put them over the cliff, I think. Like this, just completely going over the cliff like that. Or you can put it in somewhere else. I put it generally next to like a grid piece, try to line it up with a grid piece, but you do not have to do that. That is entirely up to you. Yeah, I hope you got a really good wizard. Better be like a level 8 wizard. Okay, let's drop the brightness down. I'm going to go ahead and type in entrance or enter, because entrance is a tricky word for some reason with me. I just don't know why. Okay, so we've got that enter part. I'll put it right here. That's where you start. And we could put a staircase that goes out like this. And that is the way out. Okay, I think that looks fine. That looks good. Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, you better have a tough wizard with some good spells. Okay, so that last part, or some of the last part, is to also don't forget to create a shadow, what's called ambient occlusion, which is basically a shadow around the edge of your walls. Now, because there's so many walls, it's really frustrating to just edit the object shadow of every single wall. So don't do that. Don't do that. Instead, paint it in. And the way that I paint in is I usually start around in between 30 and 40. I start with a medium-sized brush. 19 is, well, not necessarily medium. And I make sure I set to the FG layer. And what I do is I just add some black color around the edge, like this. Okay? And what I'm doing is basically, again, creating this ambient occlusion. And what ambient occlusion does is creates this illusion of depth, right? So this black color, now you look at the difference between this wall and that wall, and you'll see that that black causes that light gray stamp, that cliff, to poof, just pop out so much more. So painting in your ambient occlusion around your walls is extremely useful. And you might take a couple passes, it might not. It's up to you how you want to go about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do one section so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, so you can kind of see how ambient occlusion works really well. And this works for all your walls, by the way. Let's say that you're making a building outside, put your black shadow on the outside of the wall, outside, and on the inside of the wall as well, like here, okay? Extremely useful to always add in ambient occlusion. Look it up. Vocabulary. Today, kids, today is brought to you by the word ambient occlusion. Okay. There we go. I personally feel that the ambient occlusion just adds so much. We got some lighting, we got some ambient occlusion wizardry going on here, Mike. Okay, so that, always do that, especially and including on the outside of a building too. If this was the inside of a building and then there was an outside, you'd want to also paint the outside of those walls with that ambient occlusion, because again, it's going to create that illusion of height. You're using contrast to make something look like there's depth. It's just a nice little artist trick that I have now bequeathed to you. Okay, 12:12, and I think it is time to call it good. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to stay on for just a few minutes and I'll answer any questions that people might have in the chat. Shoot the schniz just real quick. And I will make sure to finish all these maps as well and make them clonable on my profile. Those maps will also be in the map description, or the, I'm sorry, not the map description, the video description below. Once I finish them, I'll add those links there. Boom, go ahead and you got it, okay? So if there's any questions, please let me know right now or ask Philip. And if not, we're gonna call it good because it is my lunch time. I had a lot of fun making these maps. These were so much fun. And it's always great to add a buttload of treasure. No questions, it seems. At least not yet. Heck yeah, lots of people here too. That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, this has been so much fun. So thank you, everybody. I really, really appreciate you all. It's been so much fun. Thank you for all your suggestions. I hope to see you in the next YouTube stream. I think the next Discord stream, Monday next week, 10 a.m. PDT. Let me check the schedule real quick. Let me go out. Let's just check. Is this... no, I have to check the schedule. I do believe... Shoot, where'd my schedule go? Thank you for the lesson with tea. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. I actually cannot, for some reason, find the... Oh, here it is right here. I found it. Okay. So, right here is the grid. So, next week on Discord is going to be monster tokens, and that's with all styles. Next Wednesday, 10 a.m. PDT, is going to be how to create an elven settlement with our new elven pack for the watercolor cities, followed by winter settlements, understanding scale, which I did a little bit in this video already, and an underwater scene. So that's going to go ahead and be the schedule. Thank you so much, everybody. I wish you a wonderful week, merry map making, and please stay safe and healthy. Love you guys. Bye.